Hi everyone, Sam here with the first ever deck profile that I've done on this channel. I thought to start off with I would do a profile for a deck that I've really been enjoying recently, that being Cyber Heralds. So, you know how these works. I'll go through the monsters, the spells, the extra deck, and we'll talk a little about why I like this. So the boss monster of the deck is Herald of Perfection. As boss monsters go, this is really sick. While this card is on the field, you can discard a light fairy monster to negate the activation of a spell, trap or monster effect and destroy the card. 2800 defense, it's quite easy to keep this on the field, and this is insane. That negation effect, not once per turn, not once per chain, just as many times as you've got light fairies in your hand, you can negate. Obviously it does fall down to counter traps. This can't respond to the solemn cards and other counter traps, but there's very few cards that this can't respond to. You get this on the field, don't need to worry about hand traps. They activate, just negate. It's amazing. And filling out our ritual monster lineup is Cyber Angel Benton, or Ben 10. I'm not sure, it's either Ben 10 like the little boy with aliens, or it's Benton as in Jesus Christ Benton. I'm not sure which one, but this is mainly here to tribute for this. When this is tributed, you get to search for a light fairy monster from your deck. So there's lots of things you can search. You can search more light fairies for this to use as ammo. You can search Archlord Christia. You can search Honest. Pretty much the whole deck is light fairies, bar a couple monsters. So this is really, really good, and it's searchable with a lot of cards that we have in here. Now, moving on to normal monsters, we've got Star Seraph Scepter and Star Seraph Sovereignty, otherwise known as Star Seraph Stick and Chair. So what you would do is you normal summon this, you get to search for a Star Seraph card, except itself, so this one. What happens if you have this in hand while you summon this? You then get to special summon this, draw a card. If it's a Star Seraph, you summon it out, and then as the chain resolves, you add this one, you add a second copy to your hand. Once that's in your hand, you then summon it, draw again. That's a draw to your searching cards. You've got a field presence that you can then use to link or excease, or whatever you need to do. You've got these here. They're very, very good. This by itself can be a bit of a brick, and sadly it can't be used in Xyz monsters that need less than 2 materials. If this is being used to go into something, it needs to be at least 3 materials, but luckily we've got some cards that can go with. Moving on, we have Manju of the 10,000 Hands. This is just a straightforward search. You normal summon it, you search for a ritual monster or a ritual spell card, use this, get the missing piece from either Benton or Herald of Perfection or whatever you need, get it, carry on from there. It's amazing. Then we have Archlord Christia and Honest. Now these are light fairies, they're searchable. We all know what Honest does. This can be used to get over big things or to defend. This, Archlord Christia, if you get it on the field, it locks down special summons. There is no special summoning while this is happening. It can't activate Monster Reborn, no soul charge, no link plays, just nothing. This can be special summoned from the hand if you have 4 light fairies in the graveyard. So a fun play is, if you've got, say, these in your hand, normal that, special that, search for that, you get draws, these two into Hipposhingen, these two into Decode, special that. Like, that's amazing, and you're stuck with a beefy Decode and an Archlord Christia preventing special summons. It's very, very good, very, very strong. I love it. I love it. Moving on to the non-light fairies now, we have the incantation monsters. So this is Candor and Talismandra. The way these work is you reveal either a ritual monster in your hand or a ritual spell. You summon this one from the hand, this one from the deck. If this one is special summoned from the deck, you search for a ritual spell. If this one is special summoned from the deck, you search for a ritual monster. What these two do is they get you missing combo pieces without a normal summon. So this happens, you've got Herald of Perfection in hand, you've got Dawn of the Herald, you've got Ben 10. Send Ben 10 away, search for this, normal summon, get rid of these two. You've got negate and you've got a lack of special summoning. These two are very good, very, very good. I like these, but we only run them at 2 each because otherwise they can be a bit bricky. You can only use one of their effects once per turn. Moving on to the spell cards now, we've got Pre-Preparation of Rites, that searches Dawn of the Herald and Herald of Perfection. We've got Preparation of Rites, this searches a level 7 or lower ritual monster, and if there is a ritual spell in your graveyard, you can add that to your hand as well, but this searches out Herald, Benton, whichever one you're missing. Or if you just need ammo in hand to discard, just use this. They're very powerful. Next we have Ritual Sanctuary. This is the field spell of the deck, and what it does is, while it's up, you can once per turn discard a spell card and search for a ritual monster or a ritual spell card. Its secondary effect is that you can return spell cards from your graveyard to the deck to special summon a monster from the graveyard, a light fairy monster, with level equal to the amount of cards that you've returned to the deck. So what I like to do, get Herald on board, use Honest to smack it into something bigger. Honest goes to the graveyard. You use this, recycle 4 spell cards, special summon Honest, use Honest's effect, return it to the hand. You've got an Honest for next turn. Really, really, really good. And we've got 2 terraformings because we want to see Ritual Sanctuary. If we draw extras, we can just discard them with Ritual Sanctuary. So as long as we have that, it's very rarely bricks. We have free Dawn of the Herald. This is the ritual spell that we need to get to Herald of Perfection. It also has the additional effect of you can banish it from the graveyard to return a monster that was tributed for a ritual summon back to hand. So as I mentioned earlier, you use this, use Benton, you get Herald on the field, Benton Chainlink 1, Dawn of the Herald Chainlink 2, banish this, get Benton back to hand, you get a search off of Benton as well. That's so good. So, so good. Now we're moving on to just the draw power of the deck. We've got Celestial Observatory. What this does is you put a level 6 monster from your hand or field to the bottom of the deck, draw 2. Now this can be used on Benton or Herald of Perfection to draw more, or what you can do is you can send, where is he? Talismandra is level 6, so you've used this effect, Celestial Observatory him away, that's a straight plus. This is very good. We only run it at 2, because obviously there's limited targets. There's the 3 copies of Ben 10, the 3 copies of Herald of Perfection, and the 2 Talismandras. So limited targets, but running this at 2, I've never noticed any issues with it. For the final lot of draw power, we've got Pot of Desires. I don't need to explain what this does, but all of our combo pieces are at 3. There's only 2 one-ofs in the deck, which are searchable, so just search everything. This, you get 2 cards. Really, really, really good. Banishing doesn't really matter in this deck. Then we're on to the last 5 cards, are sideboard cards. These ones, if I'm going first, which is the intention of the deck, we've got 3 Instant Fusion and 2 Called by the Grave. What these do is these help to prevent hand traps, of which some can be quite devastating. Droll and Lockbird shuts the deck down, as does Ash Blossom if they ash the right thing. So Instant Fusion gets us to Millennium Eyes Restrict, which prevents hand traps, and Call by the Grave obviously prevents hand traps. So if I'm going second, these would get sided out for kaijus, board wipes, that kind of thing. But as the intention of the deck is to go first, sit on a Herald, sit on a Christia with maybe 4 negates in hand, we need to stop hand traps. So running 5 seems excessive, but it works. I believe that's 45 cards in total for the main deck. That seems like a lot, but you know, we're searching, we're drawing. You don't really notice a lack of consistency. It's really, really fine at 45. Then on to extra deck monsters. We've got Deco Talker, Hip Hoshingen, Borrowload, Nightmare Phoenix, and Underclock Taker. So, generic arrow pointing down, spell and trap removal. Going second helps to get rid of monsters. This can be used for its attack defense boost. If it leaves the field, you get to recover a Light Fairy back to the hand. And it can be used for graveyard setup. And finally, Deco Talker, the OG Link monster, but can be used to be quite big. Can go up to like 38 depending on placements of monsters. So very, very big. Onto XEs, we've got Castell, we've got Baguska, we've got Evil Storm Exciton Knight, we've got Abyss Dweller, we've got Stellar Knight Deltaros, we've got Stellar Knight Constellar Diamond, and we have Evil Swarm Ouroboros. Ouroboros, while it's on the field, you can detach a material to either A, send a card from your opponent's hand randomly to the graveyard, B, banish a card from the graveyard, or C, return a card on the field to your opponent's hand. You can only use one effect per turn and only once while it's on the field, but that's if this survives for 3 turns, you've got all 3 of its effects. Really, really good. You need 3 materials to make it, so the Star Seraphs are what make this. Unless I have Christia in hand, I'm making this with the Star Seraphs. Then we've got Stellar Knight Deltaros and Constellar Diamond. This, Deltaros, is mainly used to go into this, which locks down milling effects. Basically, cards cannot be sent from the deck to the graveyard. So this stops Light Swarms, this stops Brilliant Fusion, this stops a lot, and it's here. I don't go into it very often, but it's here if I need it. We then have Abyss Dweller, which obviously is used, it's a really good rank 4, locks down the graveyard. It's like, there's not much to say, just this is very, very, very interesting. Again, I don't use it very much, but when I do use it, it's often the decider of games. We've got Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, just recently back off the ban list. But you make this, blow up the field, carry on with your plays. This is mainly a go second card, but we put it in here, and we main deck it just because it does come up occasionally. Really good. Baguska, we all know what Baguska does. We've all fallen foul of the godly play of Baguska Pass. If for some reason going first I can't get to Herald of Perfection, Baguska Pass is just as good. Then finally, obviously, we have Castell for its non-destruction removal. Finally, on to our instant fusion targets. We have Millennium Eyes Restrict, Mud Dragon of the Swamp, Thousand Eyes Restrict. Millennium Eyes prevents hand traps. If they try to activate a hand trap, you can quick effect, chain, steal it, it's negated. Mud Dragon of the Swamp can be used for XEs or link plays. While it's on the field, it can change its attribute, and monsters that you control of that attribute cannot then be targeted by card effects, so it offers some protection. I mainly use it for either extending or XYZ plays. Thousand Eyes Restrict. If we're going second, this steals a monster. And there you go, there is the deck profile for my Cyber Heralds. They've done well in tournaments. There have been times when I've just been drolled and the turn has stopped, so that's why I main deck so much hand trap hate. But it's served me well so far. I really enjoy playing it. It's a lot of fun to play. Maybe not a lot of fun to play against, but it's so much fun. It's just one of my favourites, and as a boss monster goes, this is amazing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you just a random hand and how I'd play it out, as, you know, just to give an example of how this deck works in action. So the deck's been shuffled, draw 5, Herald of Perfection, pre-prep, Celestial Observatory, Honest, and pre-prep. So I would pre-prep for Herald of Perfection, Dawn of the Herald. I would Celestial Observatory, put Herald of Perfection back, search 2, Star Seraphs. Normal, Chainlink 1, this Chainlink 2. Summon that, draw, Chainlink 1, search. Then we have in the next chain, summon this, draw that. These three into Ouroboros, detach, steal one from your opponent's hand. Then Dawn of the Herald, tribute that, summon that, Chainlink 1, banish, add back. We've got 3 negates on board. I think that's pretty sick. If you enjoyed the video, then please feel free to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment if you like, tell me if there's something I'm doing majorly wrong, or if you've got any questions, ask down in the comments, I'll get back to you. In the next couple of days I will be uploading a video of this deck in action, so if you want to check that out, subscribe to make sure that when it comes out you see it. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and bye bye.